So, what are your favorite love stories outside of Star Wars? We can start with Marcus.
Well, one of my favorite ones is it's very passionate. Is Mask of Zorro? Even though there's a love story there, but it's more revenge and stuff. But the love story's so strong in that movie; it's so good. Another one, Crazy Stupid Love. That one's one of my favorite movies and favorite love stories. It teeters on that the adult side where it's just what I'm trying to say. Where it's that romantic that comedy bit where it's with Steve Carell and everything, and then you have like the perfect couple of Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. There's your romantic comedy right there, and it just blends so perfectly, and it's just hilarious, and I watch it all the time.
Yeah, that one is really good. It kind of gets into the more of the nitty gritty about what real love actually is and what it looks like, and even if you're having problems like Steve Carell and his wife or ex-wife are kind of going through their divorce, but they still obviously love one another. And then the Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. So yeah, that's a good one. And that's one of my favorites too. I also really like Princess Bride because that's just an amazing movie, an amazing love story. As You Wish, Princess Bride.
As you wish. Tell us, Cassia, what's yours?
I don't know. I really do like Paperman, the short cartoon that kind of mixes 2D and 3D animation. And in a way, I think it kind of ruined love for me because it gave me like really bad expectations, But then I also really love Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Just that love story. It's kind of like a movie that like it's like the acting is perfect, the cinematography is perfect, the directing is perfect, the scripting is perfect, and it's just like it's one of those films like if I were Julius Caesar, which I'm not, like it would be like me looking at the statue of Alexander the Great and being like, oh no, what have I accomplished? Like that's like what Portrait of a Lady on Fire was for me. And I guess it ruined love for me, but like in the best way, and like also I like that you mentioned Zorro and Elena because it's just the best flirty fight, out there.
Oh, the sexual tension between those two, and it's just love at first sight. Oh, another great one, but Robert Rodriguez kind of ruined it in the third movie. Desperado, between the guitarist and I forgot her character's name. I'm so sorry, Selma Hayek. But that just if there's a perfect world, I would have loved that little story of them going on adventures and stuff like that. And Once Upon a Time in Mexico, just continue from there. Why did he kill her? I don't know. Oh, damn it, Robert, you missed out on that. But yeah, Zorro. I'm gonna watch that tonight. Mask of Zorro, people, watch it if you haven't seen it. God, it's so good, and you don't really see many love stories like that anymore. And you need movies like that to reignite the passion that is in our hearts and make love a great thing and make people believe in it.
I guess, what are some of your favorite Star Wars love stories?
Okay, well, Lost Stars, that book, that was the first Star Wars book I actually read in a very, very long time. Whenever, in the height of The Force Awakens and, the major launch night, I forgot what it was called, where they just released all these toys and the books and everything. Everybody went for Aftermath, so did I. I bought that book and I was like, well, this is all right. And then slowly but yet quickly, there was like this rumbling of just like, we need to pick up the Lost Stars. Everybody get Lost Stars. Star Wars Lost Stars. Get that book. Claudia Gray, read it. I was like, all right, cool. Let me pick it up. Oh my God. It's like, why has this not been adapted into a series? Disney Plus needs to make this into a series. Yeah, sure, we're going to get Obi-Wan. I want it. We can get a Cassian Andor series. Fine. But this needs to be a series. You can get at least 4 seasons out of it. It's so powerful that you're following two main characters. One goes off into, the rebellion. The other one goes off into the Empire, but they both start working for the Empire, and their love transcends throughout the entire original trilogy, and their story is parallel to it, and I loved it. So that is one thing that one of the Star Wars stories I love the most. Yeah, sure, Anakin and Padme, that's fine, but it's about Thane and Sienna. So.
Sienna, yeah. It would make a really good little series on Disney Plus. I would really like to see something like that, like in the Star Wars universe, kind of like this like young adult kind of tale like this. It'd be something very different, and I think it would fit in really good in the Star Wars universe. So yeah, I'd be down for seeing that for sure. Now, as far as my favorites, I mean, yeah, you have the big hitters, right? You have Anakin and Padme. You've got Han and Leia. You have Ben and Rey. I mean, Han and Leia classically is, of course, the really great one. That one might be top, but I really like Kanan and Hera. They are my couple of Star Wars.
Yeah,
I love them, and I love that kind of family dynamic that they adopted, upon the Ghost with the rest of the crew there. Their love, top notch. A top couple in Star Wars for me, Kanan and Hera.
More people need to watch Rebels. Guys, you have to watch Rebels. Yeah, I've come across a number of fans and friends, of course, that are just like, well, I don't watch cartoons. It's more than that. It's this is part of the Star Wars canon. Get into it. It's I love The Mandalorian. I love Book of Boba Fett. I love all this, everything that's live action Star Wars. There's the Clone Wars. There's Rebels. There's even Resistance. Guys, there's so much that you're missing out on. I will shout it to the heavens. People, watch the animated series. How else do you think you got Ahsoka and Mandalorian season 2?
Exactly, and Rebels is only 4 seasons, so it's not that long. Because Clone Wars is 7 seasons, so that's a little bit more daunting. But yeah, just 4 seasons for Rebels, and it's excellent. I love Rebels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
what about you, Cassia? Who are your top couples in Star Wars?
Spoiler alert! I love all of the love in Star Wars. I think there should be more love. I'm pro love. If they renamed it Star Love, I would be yeah.
What about Love Wars? Would that be okay?
Oh god.
Love Wars is
oh god.
But some of my favorites, Anakin and Padme, it's a tragic star-crossed lovers kind of a thing. Han and Leia, I love it. It's kind of like a screwball comedy. But then I'm not a fan of it's yeah, they got divorced at the end, and then he died. I know it's probably kind of a lot more life, but I'm this is fiction. It should be fun sometimes. But
yeah,
Ben and Rey, they were together for 5 minutes, and I was oh, this is nice. Then he died, and I'm oh, okay. But honestly, if they would have done Rey and Finn, I would have been fine with that too. I did like Finn and Rose. I know not everyone does, and Finn and Poe could have been beautiful. I do draw the line at Poe and Rey. I just don't think they would be, a couple.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Remember when I said some heroes don't need a love interest? I feel that Rey didn't need a love interest. Yes, you had the dyad between Rey and Kylo, but honestly, there are a lot of Reylo fans, and I am not one of them because I have my problems with the sequel trilogy. We all do. But I just felt that was just so shoved down your throat. Just yes, these two are supposed to get together from the beginning. It's no, can we do something different? Take a risk here and not have a romantic interest for the lead for once and go off and be, yeah, sure. Kind of go off a little bit like Luke, to where he didn't really have a romantic interest by the end of the trilogy. It was more, he's all about the mission of saving his father. But at the same time, you kind of got to give Rey something to do. But I just, Finn and Rose, that could have worked. I really think that could have worked if they didn't shove her to the side and Rise of Skywalker. But still.
Yeah. Here are some responses from some of our listeners. McClunky Media says, not big on romances, but Kanan and Hera and Thane, Kyrell and Sienna Ray are elite.
Oh, see? So, McClunky knows. McClunky knows what's up with love.
McClunky knows, what up, Then Star Wars Doctrine says, Han and Leia, but then he died.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Love dead.
Yeah, so... And then Dennis, our music man Dennis, Dios Maver's Music, says, probably Atten and Mitra, as it is also a story of forgiveness and character growth. And,
Okay.
I can see it from a certain point of view. Like, it can be beautiful, but, I don't know. Sometimes I just, hate Atten. And,
I'm with you on that. Atten's a dick. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Atten is Atten is the quintessential 2004 character, right? So hopefully,
Dude.
if we once we get our Knights of the Old Republic remake, if we ever get Knights of the Old Republic 2, hopefully that stuff would be kind of addressed, I guess. Maybe bring them up to speed a little bit. Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
If you really had a thing for Mitra, kind of be nicer. Try to court her a little bit, instead of just being abrasive and just straight up mean.
And stop trying to play Pazak all the time.
Dude.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. With Mitra, I could see her, the exile being single. I could even see an argument for Mikal or Michael or Disciple, whatever he decides his name is, Or even Baodur. What if Baodur is an option?
Yeah, there you go.
The man needs a little happiness in his life, for I am Baodur, and I need companionship.
Wow,
Sorry.
I like that.
That's my best impression for now.
would Baodur come as a package deal with his little droid guy?
Of course.
That's okay. Yep.
Sometimes I think the droid would be like, hey, do you want to go watch this movie in the other room, so we can have date night, but, yeah.
Him and he could be the projector.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, watching some HoloNet stuff. I was going to say, what is the Netflix in the galaxy? I don't know.
We don't know. Netflix and Star Wars. Starflix.
Oh, it's Disney Plus.
Starflix.
That's what it is.
It's Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Star Plus.
Okay. Yep. But, and then Rebels.Resistance says, Sienna and Thane from Lost Stars, if there's a recurring theme, it's Lost Stars. I need to read this. Or listen to it. Let's be real.
Have you not?
I'm distracted. A what?
Have you not read this book?
No.
What? There's a book you have not read?
Yeah, I mean, I do try to average a book a week, but I still haven't read enough. And even though the month of January, I'm pretty sure I watched 28 films. I'm it's not enough, But
It's never enough.
Oh well, nope.
That's right. Well, get Lost Stars on your list because it's excellent.
Please.
Yeah, yeah. Hera. Oh, and then Knights of Vader says Hera and Kanan is pretty close to the only true love story, and I think it's the most realistic out of all of the love stories,
Absolutely.
What do you guys think? Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely more grounded in reality than the other love stories we get in Star Wars. I think where you have Anakin and Padme. It's kind of that Romeo and Juliet type of thing, and then like you said, it's kind of that throwback to a more of a campy love story with Han Solo and Princess Leia. But yeah, Kanan and Hera are it's definitely more rooted in reality, what you would see an actual relationship be like, I think.
Can I say something controversial yet correct?
Oh, here we go. Double wedding.
Okay. So Raylo sent your messages to Marcus, and whatever
don't
Cassie's
you dare.
about to say.
Marcus has left Instagram.
He left the Audacity in Zoom chat. Okay. But I don't know, Anakin and Padme, I honestly kind of think they're a little bit Patroclus and Achilles,
Okay.
And I even could see arguments. It was never acted upon, but like, I kind of think like Obi-Wan and Anakin could have been, like, if life had gone another way, been involved with one another.
That's weird, but at the age difference there.
That is that's an even that is a bigger age difference even than Anakin and Padme. And we didn't even talk
Revan. Jeez.
We didn't even talk about Obi-Wan and Satine.
Oh, ooh. I like Siri better, so yeah.
Who?
Siri and Obi-Wan forever. Like, Obi-Wan would say, "Hey, Siri." No, just kidding. My phone
Stop.
is... Oh, no.
Yep. Look what you did. Look what you
now
did.
You know what kind of phone I have. But, and then Journal of the Wills says, "Ulick and Nomi. It needs a drastic canon remake, but it has the potential to be special." And, I don't know, we need to talk more about Tales of the Jedi, especially if it, you know...
Mm-hmm.
Ulick and Nomi Sunrider. Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll probably have to give her another last name. But, yeah, it's kind of a mature, kind of like, they feel all the things, doesn't really end happily, you know, but I think it's kind of like the kind of ending that story deserves, you know?
True.
Yeah.
And then I had a comment from Vasily, and he says that Sheikah Tool and Django Tat is a good one. So is Voss and Kayleen Hentz. Caden Blue is great, too, as is Jerael and Zane, and that's probably the most natural of them all. Those are pretty, you know, kind of legendsy. Sometimes I'm not as
those
legends versed.
Deep
you know,
cuts.
but...
I didn't know who those people were for a second. I was like, well, wait. Oh, that person. Wow. Yeah. Or if you really wanted to go like legends and stuff like that, one of the favorites, but it was short lived. What's his face? Kyle Katarn and Jan from the Jedi Outcast games.
Did they
man.
get like together, or were they like kind of just flirty flirt?
As far as I can remember, it was flirty flirt, and there was a chance that they could get together, but then she gets killed.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's always a fun thing for female characters to go through.
There's a lot of death in Star Wars.
Yeah. And it's usually a lot of dead women. So, Vasily also added, I have a problem with Revan and Bastila's relationship because as of his detainment by Scourge, he's said to be 40. And if Bastila is as young as the game implies, then Revan's technically a cradle robber. Like, they've never come out and given Bastila a proper age, but Mission does go out of her way to say Bastila isn't much older than her. Now, the rank of Padawan doesn't seem to have as strict regulation around it as it did in the prequel trilogy, and the later lore actually established her as a knight during the events of KOTOR. So thank goodness for retcons. Even so, at the very least, she'd be 12 to 14 years younger than Revan, and that's still a pretty wide age gap, in my honest opinion. Fun fact, in the EU, Han was merely 10 years Leia's senior, and in the new canon, he's actually 13 years older. So actually, I just want to pitch our, KOTOR cinematic adaptation that's not happening, cinematic universe, I guess you could call it a fan fiction, because we actually kind of thought about this, and Brian and I were kind of like, I think Bastila's a Padawan who's kind of being held back, and
much like Jolie.
Did you know that Marcus is on Holocronicles of a Jedi about, Jolie Bindo in his younger years?
Yeah, that's right.
Currently on Spotify and iTunes and everywhere that you can stream any major podcast.
Yeah. But, with Revan and Bastila, in our adaptation that's not happening, fanfic, maybe we should just put it on Archive of Our Own, and we could, see if that increases our female viewership, because I'm really trying to, pop that up, but, I don't know, that's why we're kind of like, maybe Basila's maybe like 20 to 25, like Revan could be like 25 to like 30, and then like Karth would be like 35 to 40, you know, like just so it's kind of like not a huge age gap, you know.
Yeah.
Because I think it could be an interesting relationship, but I think it would just maybe need to be updated from like the 2003 script, and it could have some interesting meta things to say. I don't know, kind of like Portrait of a Lady on Fire, where the artist Marianne has to like take a picture, like paint a portrait of I'm gonna get this French wrong, I'm sorry, Louise, I think, and she kind of like does it on the sly, like secret, but then, you know, it's like it wasn't with her consent, you know, and it's like maybe it's like they could say something like about like it's actually kind of like, I don't know, like maybe not like good for like a relationship for there to be secrets as drastic as like Revan is Revan, you know? What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
Brian, you're first.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely not the most surest ground for a relationship to start. But I think that having them be a little bit closer in age makes more sense, obviously, from a practical and good standpoint. But also, I think if they're really like a dyad in the Force, you would assume that they would be closer in age to one another. That you wouldn't have like one half out floating around for a while until the other half comes along. So I would think that just from like a practical standpoint, I would think that they would be closer in age if you're really going into like a Force dyad, Force bond between these two.
True.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So how old do you think Rey was, and how do you think Ben was? Since
They
they're
were
dyad.
9 years apart.
9 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that official?
It's
canon?
officially official. It is canon. The canon.
Gotcha. All right. So, if in a dream world that could possibly be true at some point, if we do get a KOTOR adaptation in the future that's live action, for me, I would put Bastila at 23, 24. Revan, I will put him like at 28. 29 at the
Okay.
most.
Okay.
That's better than, you know, this one fan.
That's better than 38 and 17
cast
or whatever.
that I've seen. Like 38 and 18, you know, it's like that's a 19, 20-year gap. Like that's
That just made my
like-
skin crawl just a little bit.
and I have seen like fan casts where it's like, how about Keanu Reeves as Revan and Haley Steinfeld as Bastila?
No.
I'm like, no.
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 We got to
No.
get our boy not Sebastian Stan. Who's your other guy?
Basically everyone, but you know, like Charlie Cox would be good. Michael B. Jordan.
No.
We got some Ben Barnes.
There you go, Ben
or
Barnes.
We could even have Lady Revan, you know? So
True.
good story is a good story, you know? So
Ben Barnes, hands down, he's voted for me. I love you, Michael B. Jordan, but you can't be everyone, okay?
yeah. Let me find this one thing while I'm going to ask you guys a question. So either of you can go first, but why do you think Star Wars needs love stories? Or, in asking the question in another way, does Star Wars need love stories?
Yes, I think that Star Wars needs love stories. I think all stories really need love stories. I mean, maybe not in every iteration, but as an overarching theme, I think that having love stories is good because it shows that side of humanity, and I think that that's good. I think it's just good to explore those kinds of things. You can't have stories that are just one note that, you know, revolve around just action or espionage or things. You need to have some sort of other human elements to them. And developing love stories is a really good way to develop your characters and give them some depth. Give them a little bit more to do than just be, kind of one note action heroes or, something like that. But yeah, that's what I think. So I think Star Wars, and most other stories, need to have some aspects of love going on, whether that's a romantic love or, a family type of a love. But yeah, just something there to, give your characters a little bit more to do.
I love lamp. I love love. Star Wars will always need love. I mean, yeah, you can have the action, you can have the explosions, lightsabers going back and forth, blaster fire and everything, catchphrase left and right, but where's the love story? There's always bound to be a love story. Now, majority of the time, you can tell a story without there being an underlining, romantic section of it, much like how Mando is right now with the first 2 seasons. Even in the first season with Amara, there could have been something there, but they moved away from it because it's not that type of show. We're dealing with the gunslinger. Gunslingers tend to not have a very long lifespan. So it makes it even more interesting and I wouldn't say sad, but a little more like on the edge of your seat because you never know how this character's, life is going to pan out. Is he or she going to, quit the life and then get married and have a couple kids and then live on a farm or, a moisture farm somewhere? Or are they just going to continue with life and, do something else into another field aside from bounty hunting? Could be a politician, could own, a Java bar on Coruscant, with Dex. I mean, yes and no. Star Wars does and doesn't need love. If you want a straight up action story, you have your Mandos, you have your Book of Boba Fett's. If you want your love story or, your action mixed in with that, you have, the original trilogy with Han and Leia. Or you have Thane and Sienna from Lost Stars. It's give and take with that. You give a love story, you take away, a little bit more of this. If you give an action story, you take away the love. It's all about character development and all that good stuff and how you want to weave it in naturally instead of forcing it upon your audience, much how the sequel trilogies did it. But, yeah, I think Star Wars does need love at some point in there. And if it's not just, 2 characters falling in love, you need the creators to love what they're doing. And you feel that throughout, from the screen, from the characters, from the story, from the words on the page that are being spoken. And the visuals that you see, just like this past episode, or on episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett, Mando 2.5. That was all prequel love with the Naboo starfighter and everything. That was love for the prequels shown on screen and not forgetting, what came before. And you get the goosebumps. You feel that just like adrenaline, just like, yeah, we're back, baby. And then we get back into the main action. That's what I think Star Wars will always need.
I kind of think that Attack of the Clones is the asteroid that killed love in Star Wars for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just wasn't quite what people were expecting. And people were like, oh, this is so bad. But, like, the kids who grew up with it, like, I don't know. I think, like, people are kind of coming around to it, and it's not perfect. Is it written well? Maybe not the best, but I think there is chemistry. Maybe not, like, it wasn't always directed well, but I think that there was chemistry. It's a different type of story being told. It's more mythological. So I think, like, kind of just, like, the critics and, like, everyone, like, when Attack of the Clones came out, like, oh, this love story, like, I think Star Wars love died that day, and I think Disney's like, we're no love for a while, and that's not to say, like, some heroes shouldn't be single or just, like, Peli Motto's working on herself, kind of just working on self-love, like,
yeah.
I think it's good just to be present in the world where you are and respect people, maybe that's the love we need, but I'm also like, if like it's like platonic love, like friendship. Friendship is central to Star Wars. That's important. Familial, like for me, like Mission and Big Z is like such an important relationship that
yes,
I would need to. I want to see that, like, that brother and sister relationship, on screen. Found family is beautiful, and I do like seeing romantic love stories well done, and I think, like, if they're written well and there's more representation, I think that's a good thing. And like with Star Wars, like watching The Mandalorian, like sometimes it feels a bit like boys playing with action figures, but girls play with action figures too. Like,
agreed.
We all love action, but like sometimes there needs to be like a love story and like, yeah.
Or just story in general. It can't just be explosions and gunfire. This is not a Michael Bay show. Like, come on, guys.
Right, yeah.
So, like you said, Casa, women play with toys too. It's not that, man, growing up, ladies and gentlemen, you guys grew up in a lovely generation. We all grew up in the generation where it was just girls play with Barbies, boys play with G.I. Joes and Transformers and stuff. And it was never really a mixture of the both. And then came, Star Wars and the other franchises out there. And it kind of, that was the thing that molded together and broke the stereotype of, society. It was just like, oh, we have Leia and she's an awesome woman that can, kick so much butt and she saves Han and Luke and Chewie. Usually it would just be those three, saving her. It's like, no. You can have, a powerhouse of a leading lady and she can kick as much ace as anybody else. And you have that representation for young women out there, little girls, and then they become powerful. That's why, you have your Reys, your Fennec, your Heras, you have even Sabine. You have your Mandalorians that are not just men. You have the armor that are women, and she took out all those stormtroopers by herself with just hammers. Come on. So that's what I love seeing more in Star Wars, that we have strong female leads, and not all of them get the respect that they should, and, story-wise and stuff like that, but that's been changing a lot more. And I 100% agree that it's just have a story. You can have action. You can have, plot twist after plot twist, space battle after space battle, pod race, if you will. But have your story and have it mean something. Have a heart to that story. And that's why I love what Deborah has done with, her episodes of Mando. And I can't wait for what she does with Obi-Wan. There's going to be so much heart. That's going to be the most heart-wrenching series, period. And we're all just going to need a bunch of tissues because we're all going to cry whenever Obi and Annie fight one more time.
Check out my review on Letterboxd at Cassia Lawrence for Kenobi. So,
yeah, that's right. I'm
excited for Kenobi. I gave it 5 stars.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. It better live up to your rating for sure. But just to touch on what Marcus said, definitely to have a love story, but don't, to have one for the sake of having it, so make sure that it's going to fit into the story you're trying to tell. But I definitely think that there is room to explore more romance, more love within the Star Wars universe for sure.
Yeah. And I want to be kind of clear that I was kind of just kidding about Din and Bo-Katan. So I'm pretty sure Bo-Katan interests lie elsewhere. And you
never know.
We never know. If that happens, I will eat a Ronto wrap. Actually, that's not a challenge. I would gladly eat one. I haven't eaten one.
No, it's not.
I would
have blue milk.
Hell, I had one this past couple of days ago.
Blue milk is the true. It's the true milk. So if that happens, I'll have a blue milk. So
no, you're having a blue milk. Blue milk is the best. Green milk is
is better.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
Ask Luke. He even just grinned at the camera, just like, ugh.
Okay. Let me just say one thing. But sorry, go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say we can't end our love episode
On a fight.
on a fight about blue milk and green milk.
I had
So
oh,
so we'll just go ahead and say that blue milk is better and leave it at that.
Oh, I want to hear what Cassia says, though. I want to hear it.
okay. I was gonna say, so it's kind of a transition from milk to what I'm gonna say, but I loved No Time to Die.
Yeah.
And I was watching one of the behind the scenes features featuring Leia Seydoux, and she brought up the quote, "Love is the promise of suffering." And when I first heard it, like, I didn't think it was romantic because it wasn't, like, happy enough, but I think, like, with good contemplation, with contemplation and good input, I came to love the quote. And
Yeah.
watching Portrait of a Lady on Fire, like, taught me that when you love someone, it's free. Like, love includes the positives, the negatives, the happiness and the loss. Like, it's like a mutual bridge, like looking at each other, you know. And with Star Wars, where does Star Wars come in? Here we have a little silly space opera fairy tale set in a galaxy forever locked in war, and war begats war, which creates more suffering in the galaxy, and the cycle never ceases. And I realize fairy tales can be dark and there must be ambiguity in great stories, but I don't know, like, could, like, some heroes ever fix the broken cycle? Does every love story in Star Wars need to be star-crossed? Like, could some have happy endings, you know? And, like, not every happy ending looks the same, you know? But I think, like, we can have, like, a balance of, like, good storytelling, like, good tragedy, good happy endings, all of that. But I guess we'll just have to see what the future holds.
That's the thing, man. Star Wars is always filled with love, whether it be fans. It's like we take the negative with the positive, and it's all because we love it so much. And at the heart of Star Wars is always love, hands down, no matter what. If you don't like the sequel trilogy, you don't like the prequels, you don't like, you know, bits and pieces of the original trilogy, but you do love Rebels, you do love Mandalorian, you do love Book of Boba Fett, you do love Clone Wars. But you do like Star Wars, but you do love those pieces of media. It's all love either way. And then you'll come around just like everybody else did on the prequels. So, at the end of the day, love is love. I love love. And Star Wars fans love love.
Yeah.
So, love is everywhere.
Make love, not war, you know? Team love.
Make love, not Star Wars.
and love is all you need.
Love is all you need.
May the love be with you.
That's right. Absolutely. I want to say thank you to Marcus for joining us again on the podcast here. Always a pleasure to have you on, sir.
Always a pleasure to be here.
All right. And for those of out there listening right now who aren't familiar with what you've got going on, why don't you, tell people where they can find you on the internet and, you know, what part of Star Wars, you know, what slice of Star Wars you're getting into.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can find me at themoslerreview.com. That's where you will find my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. Yeah, I still use Tumblr. But I am currently in the Unreal Cinema's KOTOR adaptation. We're currently still working on season 1. It's almost ready, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Right now, we do have Malik's story out there. I remember you guys had our Darth Malik over here, Daniel Hodge. He was on the episode, or on the podcast with you guys, and he is a great dude. It's awesome working with him, and guys, go check that out. That's basically, you know, a preview of what our KOTOR episode 1 is going to look like very soon. So, and also, I have Holocronicles of a Jedi, the story of Jolee Bindo whenever he was a Padawan, and the first 2 seasons are out there. Yes, I know, you guys are waiting. But remember, I am only one man. But I am currently working on season 3 right now. I'm looking to a summer release of season 3. And I'm going to tell you this, guys, this is going to be the hardest season I've ever done. It's going to be the hardest work I've ever done for a Star Wars project, and you guys will love it. There's going to be some dramatic stuff going down in this, man. But yeah, that's basically me. TheMosleyReview.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, at the Marcus Mosley. I'm always there. Message me. I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank everyone for listening out there about love in Star Wars. So let us know what kind of love stories you want to see in Star Wars. Thanks for joining us, and may the Force be with you.